All right, everybody. Hey, my name's Tilion, and today we're going to be in the lab looking at Yuzuha a little bit and kind of see how not only her team placement matters actually quite a bit, but how we can access some of her tech and what we can do with her abilities and core abilities to specifically kind of activate her best buffing potential, as well as really looking into some of her techs that allow her to be more utilized as an off-field agent and taking advantage of as much time as we can, as well as trying to find the burst windows that are going to be as efficient as possible. So, hi YouTube, everybody, say hi. We're in the lab here in the VR section today to try to look at a couple of different ways of how Yuzuha works and how she functions, and specifically what we can do to make that a little bit easier for us to make sure that we're getting our deadly assault clears and our shield defense clears. So a couple of things I've noted as I've kind of been working on this over the last day, we want to look at specifically what is Yuzuha doing from a damage perspective and a buffing potential. So if we actually go into our actual move list here, we can go and look at specifically Yuzuha. Realistically, most of her buffing kit is going to be held within her EX special. We can look at this within her detailed. Most of this can be found within her skill info page, and we can find a lot of the information we're looking at here. Specifically, we're going to look at her basic attack is going to be part of her anomaly buildup rate. Her special attack is going to be part of her sweet scare state. And then all the way at the bottom here, we can look and see her core skills are going to be the team-wide buffs that include her 1200 attack, as well as the additional ability combining with an anomaly agent that's going to give us up to a 20% anomaly mastery buff in full effect. Realistically, if you don't have her W engine though, this is going to be 14.2%. That's perfectly fine. You're reaching almost the vast majority of that buffing capacity. And as you look here and read it, it's going to tell us that it's going to say every point after 100 will increase the anomaly buildup rate. So this is not a threshold we need to meet. It's just as we get more, it caps at 200. So we get all of the available anomaly mastery that we get from putting in, obviously, our 2-piece Phaeton's Melody set, as well as our 6-slot disc anomaly mastery. So perfectly easy. So if we're looking at the TLDR, she's going to give us a 200 AM. At 200 AM, she's going to give us a 20% anomaly buildup rate, 20% anomaly damage and disorder damage upgrade, as well as an attack buff for the team of 1200 damage. So very easy to understand, very good buffing capacity and availability. How do I play her? That's the bigger question, right? So now that you know what she's doing for your team, how do we play Yuzuha? Realistically, all you gotta do is press E. Once you hit E, if you go in here and we look at our actual detailed stats, you'll notice that we are going to start receiving the buffs that she provides. We can also see this within her, where is it? Effect details. The Tunaki Wish is now active, increasing attack by 1183. This is because I am not at the full 3000 max attack capacity, but again, it's an additive property, so the closer we get to that 3000 attack threshold, we are going to receive additive properties to that increased attack to team damage, right? Now, if you notice, when we hit E, we get a quick swap, and we can quick swap directly into our next agent, which in this case is Miyabi. Now, the next part of her kit that I wanted to detail is specifically going to be her sweet scare state, which also helps activate effectively what they call in game is the flavor match. If you've noticed, once a Miyabi attacked our enemy here, they became a frost color, and we are actually going to build up frost anomaly with the next character that attacks after her sweet scare state. We can actually change this around by switching up how we place our team, which is where team placement comes into play. So if we go, say, Vivian, Miyabi, Yuzuha, we can go ahead and activate it, switch in, and you'll notice that we're now purple to represent kind of more of the ether damage that is obviously coming from the anomaly proccing of Vivian. So this is important to know, as especially anomaly teams, we want to make sure that we have a driver, we have an anomaly, and then we have usually our support and how that team functions. This allows us to really decide who we want to help build anomaly with, so we can help drive disorders. So in the case of a team like a Miyabi, Yuzuha, and Vivian, our driver is mostly going to be Miyabi. She's an on-field agent. She wants a lot of time on field. She wants to do a lot of damage. But in order to drive disorders, we want to make sure that we have an agent that's also proccing disorders or proccing anomaly in the back. So we can actually achieve this very easily by making sure our Vivian is creating that state, switching to Miyabi, and we're actually going to get quite a bit of anomaly by those two focusing on ether.
My blade is already sheathed.
And that'll help us proc more and more blooms and more disorders, as you can see.
Weakling.
So placement is incredibly important with Yuzuha and how you decide to use her in team formats. So keep in mind how you would want to use this. Yuzuha works really great before Vivian. She also works really great before Bernice. Both characters who are kind of anomaly drivers, or sorry, they're more anomaly enablers than drivers. So if you needed to, you could actually swap this around as well. Let's say we wanted Yuzuha to actually proc to Miyabi. We would just wait for that quick assist to end.
Right.
And we can again proc it to ice. So to summarize all of that up, it's important to know that the next agent that attacks after you activate Yuzuha's skill is going to proc her effectively her sweet scare state and help proc more and more anomalies of that attribute. So realistically, it's probably easiest to put your enabler after Yuzuha and then your driver after your enabler. So in this case with the Miyabi team, it makes a lot of sense to go Yuzuha to Vivian to then Miyabi to drive that damage and help proc disorders in the background. The second thing I wanted to note is when we start looking at some of the ways that we can better play and be more efficient specifically to Yuzuha is if you look at her actual skill activation, it takes quite a long time. And we can actually quick swap out of this and animation cancel if we wanted to. We are just going to lose the quick swap capabilities that come from that ability in her attack. So we can take advantage of a couple different ways to actually still gain the quick swap. And that's going to be where we can take advantage of her manual parry ability, as well as her ability to defensive assist. So we'll go ahead and activate this boss here. We'll go ahead and reset him so he starts attacking us. And we'll move him around. And I'll showcase this real fast. So if we're on Miyabi, we can go ahead and use the defensive assist. Proc it. You'll notice that the E is super fast. We get the quick assist and we come right out. Again, I'll showcase that again. Come on, use a parry attack. You gonna attack me? Or there we go. No, we force feed stuff. My bad, variant. Let me fix that. Dunnable. No. Bang, come down. Perfect. Parry. All right, now did you guys hear that sound? That's important because that's the difference between our two counter abilities. We can quick this. Come on, stop shooting at me. Hey mates, how are you, sir? And we get the longer version that's gonna do more damage. Or we can do a shorter version that does actually a significantly less amount of damage. So we can actually choose either or. But as you see, it's a drastically faster way for us to activate her skill, which applies her buff, while also taking advantage of more damage output and executing that tech a lot faster. We can also do this by using her manual parry. which is going to activate the same counter and the same push out of her skill. So again, to showcase, if you hold basic attack, she'll parry any incoming damage. We can wait for that sound. It's going to activate her enhanced riposte, and we can go ahead and activate that skill with half the time frame. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about is specifically how to use her ultimate. Her ultimate takes a lot of time, a lot of field time, but it's actually a really good ultimate. It does significant damage. It's going to help with stun and daze, and it also applies a pretty significant energy buff to the team. Realistically, you don't want to use this in stun windows. It's going to take way too much time, but it's also going to take up field time. So what we want to do is find situations that benefit you, we want to find instances that benefit you, that maybe your driver is active in a situation that's quick swappable. So example of this is really easy with Miyabi. If we get to her 5 or 6 state, we can go ahead and activate her enhanced basic, swap out, and activate the ult. This is a window in which you're not wasting any time. You have damage coming from both sides. So it's important to try to find windows in which you're not wasting any time. We can go ahead and showcase that again by activating Miyabi again and activating the ult. You'll notice that we're doing both things at the same time, eliminating waste, getting still the full benefits and damage output by both our support there, the buffing capabilities to the team, as well as obviously, getting as much damage output as we can in that time frame. So that's kind of the stuff in the lab I wanted to showcase. I'm going to actually pull us out of the lab and take this into an actual deadly assault run to showcase how this may work, how we can take advantage of some of these situations, and how it plays actually in combat. We're going to do Pompeii just because I'm used to his parry systems. And again, we're going to use this team format and the way that the team flows to try to take as much time as possible. We're going to go on, jump in. We're going to activate our feathers, take the parry. And we're going to continue to dodge through. Right there. Wait for it. Pull it off. Quick swap. Build up feathers again with our skill. Again, we're going to take advantage of that. Switch into Vivian. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Get an ult out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we're using her last in the chain.
Oh, don't you know?
We'll ult here.
My dress skirting victory.
Again, trying to maximize our windows. That's realistically how you would try to play her in a team format, trying to activate all the buffs and all of the windows that you can, as well as making sure to get as much utility out of her as possible, helping with quick swaps that are going to obviously get more feathers for Vivian, and making sure to maximize the time and efficiency that we have our driver on field as well, and also getting as many disorder procs as possible. So that's really it. That's what I wanted to cover today, specifically with Yuzuha, from a theoretical, why it works that way, how it works that way, as well as practically how do we actually go into Deadly Assault here and show those things off. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully you kind of learned something today. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to answer those as I can. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Tilion out.